Yeah, I think you need to be in the skin of the public. And by example, when you were kids, sometimes you go to the record store and you pick like the album with a good cover, or like if you see a band, they need to look cool and you need to like the photo, because if they're just having white t-shirt and they look like normal people and boring, and the photo is boring, you're not going to be attracted. But imagine like you see the photo and you're like, wow. So basically you need to do like the photos that you will be attracted. But it's really important to think about that. And having like also like good song with very good melodies, this is also very important, especially if you don't sing in the language of the country you try to reach.
Everybody's going there, like the visuals, as you said, of course.
So you need to find something else and not being glam, and maybe be like super baos, minimal, and
so
like just having like attitude, no matter what is it, even I was like thinking, if you're a girl, I think it's better to do like no makeup or do like a lot of makeup, but it's just that this in between, you know what I mean? Like I think in art and balance, it's good to like go like really go to your statement, do your look, but it could be like anything. Even like there is like the grunge look, like Kurt Cobain look, it's like a look. There is like David Bowie look, it's a look. James Brown look, it's a look. You know what I mean? So even if you're pushed away by an aesthetic because it's very fashionable and everyone dressed like this, you have to find like other aesthetic. And it's like this also that you can create a new movement by also like make fusion of aesthetic, but just be something. And even, if you have like, you can also have like white t-shirt and regular jeans, but make sure like the photo is really cool. Maybe like, I don't know, as a random example, like black and white with like lot of contrast, very mysterious. Maybe like people have like crazy like look, or I don't know, but like, you know what I mean? It could be like anything,
So listen to your music and they're just attracted by this.
Looks like if I saw some emo gothic, it's not my style, and I will be like, oh, I don't want to listen to that band. So for sure. But after, I think the most important is to be yourself and be what you want to do and that you like. Don't like do a strategy with the look and be like something that you are not. But just, I think it's really important as band to be like aware of that and the image, because nowadays it's almost 90% of the part, of the job. No, it depends basically. I think like by example, in the 80s it was too much look and so good, but people get over it. So after, at the end of the 90s, the early 2000s, it was more like being like more normal, just play on a roof, you know what I mean? And I think like now, since few years, all the crazy looks start to come back, and of course after, like, people will be fed up, so we will have again a minimal period. I think it's just it's depend, After, it's still important to keep up, because you still give dreams, Even like when people see you on stage, they go see a show, they want to have like stuff in the eyes, it's entertainment.
I really hope that Madonna had kept up with her initial.
Yeah, but she still have strong look. After, of course, like once you get older, it's more hard to be like half naked, But I think she's still doing great, and she's still being inventive, creative with her process, with like a lot of era, So it's good, and she's like a big icon at the end.
Yeah, do you feel like you're still making, for instance, compromise to perform like locally when we talk about France?
No, we don't do it anymore because like it's too much complicated, and everyone is asking us all the time. But sometimes we still do underground performance in little small place for help a friend. Or if it's like for a good friend, by example. But even if it's for like organization, like a non-profit, we're trying to don't do it, because we receive like a lot of asking. And if you help this organization, why you don't help the other organization? So it's a bit hard. So at the end, we're doing more with like our friend, or if we want to really need to help someone, or even like if there is like a venue that we really want to support, we're gonna be like more chill with like the fee, anything. But for sure, it's definitely hard to keep up with that. Also, when we start the band, we were like really, we didn't like the scene. So we kind of create our own scene, but it was not even a scene, it was just us. So that's why it's not like we come from a scene and we forgot our scene, because our scene at the beginning was like the 60s scene. We like pretty much disappear, and even it's like a big revival scene. And in this scene, which just sucks, is like if you don't do like proper 60s or proper in the code of the line, people don't like you. So for us, all those scenes are very boring because it's good to have code, but it's also good to mix the style and not to be like I'm really like this, like really like hardcore, really like punk, really like you know what I mean. So sometimes you have to be careful to the scene. Also, especially in Paris. We never liked the pop indie scene, for us it was like shitty music, so we didn't really wanted to connect with them. But after, anytime we see like a cool young band, we always try to support them, help them, give them a lot of piece of advice. And I think it's really important that the new generation gets advice and go, because there is like some really important heritage, like by example, I will give like a random example. Rockabilly, by example, it's really good that rockabilly gender exists since the 60s, and every decade you have like new people who make like this music still alive. So it's very important, otherwise you can have like movement of culture who can die, Like by example, ska, it's a bit sad, but there is not really like ska anymore, and there was some good stuff in ska, especially in the 80s or the 60s with like the rocksteady. So yeah.
I would say we are more a band inspired from the past, from sure, and from dead people. And our lyrics are mostly like big topics and of life, philosophical, humanity, basic feelings, and not really on the actuality and the politics. But after, from time to time, there is a song you can feel it's like in the era also, because with some few lyrics or few moments that. I don't know what for example I could say now, but yeah, like even in a song we say I give you radio silence. I think it's like a modern sentence, I don't know if they say this before, I don't know, but sometimes with few punchline, like you can say okay, they are from now, because even in a song you say you put a like on my pictures, or some stuff like this.
Also like saying that you're influenced by the past. Unfortunately, or sometimes fortunately, but mostly not, we are living still in the past.
Yeah, but for music and art in general, it's so amazing to be able to have access to all the music of the past. It's like such a new thing, because before internet, for our parents and stuff, it was more complicated to find out music. So us, we can have like a huge background of music, and I think it's. And it's make some bands like us, like doing like a big melting pot of all the stuff, and without any what it's like a big what the fuck. It's like okay, we love this Spanish orchestra with like a banjo with whatever we're doing it. It's like with no rules, and it's what makes the thing interesting and new in a way, because it starts to create a new gender, but the stuff we can do is like mixing and make a big crossover, and it's what is interesting in the new bands that we love. And for example, we love a band called Transformers. He's like a guy from USA, and he's making sample of like old school blues and gospel and this kind of stuff songs, and he's singing on the top of it. But the way he works, it's like kind of new, because he's work with like the software and making loops, but it's so old school at the same time, and we are a lot into this kind of process and stuff.
So yeah, mostly like also reinventing old things through your own prism, and also through the new technology, I guess.
And there is not big scene anymore, like it could be like the punk scene, the ska scene, whatever. Recently there was a huge psychedelic revival, and it was very exciting, because they make crazy festival like Austin Psych Fest, or also like the Californian scene, the Beach Gods. Those people we feel very connected, because it's like it's like a 60s revival kind of, but in like Brian Johnson Massacre, this kind of band, but they making in a new vibes also, and it was exciting because it's federating so many people, and it was kind of good for us to see there is people who love rock and roll, still playing live with real bands, and get connecting in the same festival. But after it's kind of over the scene, and maybe a new stuff gonna come, but from time to time there is like like a scene coming up and popping out, and it stays a few years, and
Yeah, I think it's really hard also to be political nowadays because if you're political, after you stay political all your life, and when there is a political stuff happening, people will like ask you question and stuff. So yeah, it's hard, you know. After you can talk about like political stuff more larger, you know, like you think you can speak about like how the school work, about like people finding like a job, working, blah blah blah, like social stuff. But there is one thing I understood. It's also, I think, we still didn't have a new international artist who are as good and as great as the one we had in the past. I was thinking of Bob Marley or Michael Jackson, by example. And I don't think we have like an artist who like went better than Bob Marley or Michael Jackson, you know, in terms of music. We're gonna play Telegraph from La Femme. So Telegraph was like one of the first songs of La Femme we created in 2010. It was supposed to be in Psychotropical Berlin, but we never get the chance to finish it because we lost an hard drive, a complicated story. And finally, for the reissue of our first EP, we decided to release Telegraph online. So here is Telegraph.
Yeah, we're gonna be 7 people on stage. So we have a drummer, a bass player, 4 keyboards, 2 girls singing.
2 girls singing.
Yeah.
And are you the one coming in the back vocals at times, or everybody? Because there's some male vocals in most of the tunes.
Yeah, it's a mix. There was like girls vocals and also me and Marlon are singing too, and it's like a mix of both.
So everybody is arriving today or tomorrow?
Tomorrow, because they took the bus from Paris yesterday, and it's like 2 days of travel.
Most of the time we pick like the big city of all the country. So yeah, and there is some country, of course, we are like less developed and famous, so it's more hard to go, and we don't go necessarily. But it's good because now the band are growing up every year, and now we are able to play in like a new country, you know. So it's our first time in Bulgaria, and we are super happy. We found out about like Eastern European agents. Basically, you need to know agent, and then the agent plug you with like the country and stuff, with the right people for the contacts, for festival or venue, you know.
Is it always like that?
Yeah, most of the time when you pass the professional step, after you need to have an agent. Yeah, I think especially for manager, by example, it's a bit down because now it's hard to do manager, especially when you run your label and everything. It's not like before, you know. And now with internet also, you have direct access to everyone. And same for show. It's true that when you start with your band or any music project, I will really advise you to send email and move yourself and like learn how to be your own agent. But after, at one point, when you're big, for sure it's better to have an agent, unless you love to do that, but you need to be like on top of everything and have the right contact for in all the cities in the world, so it can be hard. But by example, we did our first tour in Europe and USA by ourselves, by sending email, you know, before we had agent.
Yeah, it's probably been a real mess.
Yeah, it was mess, but at least it worked. Yeah, but yeah, it's mess, and you don't get paid properly.
Yeah, we forget to show one time in Spain. Yeah. We forget to show one time in Spain.
Yeah, we booked 2 shows at the same time, and they call us in Spain like, "Where are you guys?" And I was like, "What do you mean? Where are you? We are, we are in like Strasbourg, or I don't know, you know." Yeah, it's a mix of all the album basically. We a best of all the good songs who are good for live, you know.
That's great.
We like to be generous with the public, you know, and they want to see everything, so it's good instead of focusing on one album. Okay, so here it's Disconnection from the album Paradigm. Yeah! We start the band in 2009. At the beginning, we start to do 60s music most of the time. Then we discover all the synthesizer world with like new wave and cold wave. The compilation in France of cold wave is called BIP, BIPPP, very good. And yeah, so we discover synthesizer, put it in the 60s music, and we start this sound.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Also, Yeah, mixing those style. Also, we love like psychedelic stuff, this kind of stuff too, and then the band the sound evolve, but at the beginning it was the main background.
Yeah.
And the idea was to make great songs, you know, like Crazy Show, and
Try to tour the world. So we start working hard and playing every day, and send email like I said and stuff. And yeah, everything started in 2009, 2010.
yeah. And also we wanted to sing in French because for many reasons, but it was cool. And back in the days, so many people were singing in English in the scene and in the band, and so for us it was funny to mix, yeah, like 60s, 80s singing in French, you know, and it's we found our song like this, you know. We was from Biarritz, you know, it's like a small town in southwest of France, and we grew up there, so it's where we met, you know. We was living in the same neighborhood.
Yeah. And a friend from school, you know, we met when we were like around 10, you know, something like this. Yeah, we actually did some announce because we are looking for a singer. So I remember putting in music school like La Femme is looking for a singer, or even on Instagram, you know, MySpace at that time, because it was MySpace.
Tom, remember Tom?
Yeah, it was the good old time of MySpace.
So did you find one through that like channels, or did you find a singer just
Yeah,
from?
yeah, not really. At the end, we found Clémence actually by MySpace. She was following us and doing like this kind of synth wave, and we were like, oh, she's cool, and we asked her if she wanted to be the singer. The inspiration come to us pretty easy. Like, by example, Sacha is in Bulgaria. He wanted to record some classical musician from here, our polyphonic voice. Also, yeah, we just producing always a song, and I think even us, we don't like to be bored with the same thing. So automatically the song evolve. We wanted to do like a Spanish album. We'll play one of the song next. So it was like inspired by Spanish culture. We did like Hawaiian album. It was inspired by Hawaiian vibe.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. But it's like yes, it's like when we discover a song that we really love, we are like, why not try to do something in this style, even if it's like such a different style or something else. Or when we love music in all the kind of genre, you know, pretty much, except few stuff, but.
For us, by example, when we play in live, it's very hard because most of the time the music is made with like a click, with a real tempo on the grid, one by one, and in live we play like really live. There is no backing track. So, by example, when it's electronic style, there is some song we are not really able to play them live because there is too many arpeggio and sequence. Or sometimes we play the sequence and the arpeggio by hand, you know. Unfortunately, as an artist, if you want to be successful, most of the time you have to only do your art and not do really like side stuff. I think if it's like few days a week, it can be okay, but you have to be careful and not like having like too much real work. Otherwise, your art's gonna stay passion. So the best advice, especially if you're young, it's like to make art very early when you're still living at your parents. Like this, you don't have a rent to pay, and you can like still do your art. And then, of course, it's not gonna be easy. So I think it's really important once you have art done to like move your ass, send email to everyone, try to make your art living. Whenever, like if it's like DJ, books, making movie, just like try to create like project and making happen, keeping busy, you know. And at one point, the effort gonna pay, you know, if you're work enough, if you're talented enough, if you're lucky enough. It's like a big mix of everything, you know.
Also, yeah, and I know some people can get lost in when they're young, doing school that they don't really want, or as we say, like other job on the side. But sometimes you need to have the job to live too, because it can take few years before you get paid for music. But yeah, it takes so many time to do like a record, to do everything that is the best is to do only this for sure, yeah. And also in terms of creativity, it's like to for going out, you have to find your own stuff, your own sound, listen a lot of stuff and digest it and experiment and do a lot of songs. Maybe you do 100 songs, and at the beginning you just put out 10 songs, but being productive.
Yeah, and I think also like by the lyrics or even the music or any kind of art, you have to also like use when you're sad, all this feeling and those emotions for push yourself to create something. And because like in any like negative situation and pass, you can find like light, inspiration, and make like beautiful piece of art, And also like Sacha said before, it's hard also now for young people. It's always been hard for young people because of the society. When you're young, the society told you to have like a decent job, to do studies, to work at school, for get degrees. And now the problem is like, first of all, even if you have degrees, it's hard to find work. And also most of the time, people will choose work for the degrees, but not because they are passionate about this work and they love it. So I think it's really important to know what you want to do, whatever is it. Like this, you can like straight go to that,
And so we were talking with Sacha actually about his trip last year to Bulgaria. I think it was your first trip, right? Yeah. Wait, let me give you the other mic. It was your first coming to Bulgaria, even though you have Bulgarian roots, let's say. What happened?
Yeah, it was a funny trip. I wanted to come in Bulgaria since many years, and so finally I planned it. I wanted also to bring my mom and my sisters here to meet the family, So it was very good stuff to do. Like they was all crying and talking about some story of the family and some deep stuff like this, And my mom was very happy and thankful, and she was like, she said me, because she never came back since 40 years, I think, or something, and it was a kind of deep family story and blah, 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 So she was really happy to come see the family again, and she was more peace with herself after doing it. And even me, yeah, it was something I really wanted to do and make the connection with the country. So I stayed like almost 1 month, and I wanted to have the time to travel in the country, take some train, go in different place and just ride Bulgaria, So it was very fun. I went to Sofia, Plovdiv, to Sozopol. I went to Kustendil, meet the family, to the village of my grandfather in Yamborano. I saw his old house. I went to have a trip in the Seven Lakes too, and I went to the monastery of Rila, and I slept there, and it was such a crazy stuff to do. I discovered that you can sleep in monastery. I didn't know that, and it was very cheap actually, so it's a good plan. And I really want to do this kind of stuff again. It's very peaceful, no internet, no noise. You're in the mountain. It's you feel you are like you can be like 100 years ago, and so it's like very mystical and peaceful. I loved it a lot. I listen many Bulgarian stuff, and I discover more the music. I really wanted to see the traditional music and dance, like because I think it's amazing, and I tried to find some, and it was kind of like a mission to find some stuff, but because you have to go in the village and stuff. Finally, I end up at Rosen Festival. Rosen, yeah, in the mountain.
Sorry about that.
And it was so crazy. It was like huge in the mountain with all the bands and music from all the countries. And it was kind of like the championships of national championships of Bulgarian traditional music. So it was like the Coachella of Bulgarian traditional. It was so huge, and I was alone there, and I think the only French guy. It was full of Bulgarians, so it was very a weird moment, to be alone in the mountain and in this festival. But yeah, for sure the music inspired me a lot here. I think it's very, very strong. There is many interesting stuff in music, and a strong tradition, and also a great level of musician. I saw so many people in the street with like a cello, a violin or them, a guitar. I can feel like music is like a big thing here, and everybody, a lot of people play and practice and stuff, and it's like take it seriously, you know. So, and also, yeah, my grandfather, he was like a chef orchestra and directing some musician and choir and stuff. So I wanted to, yeah, there is a connection with the family, but also with the music. It's like it's coming together. The both, you know, it's like linked strongly, you know.
I was like tripping on the name Psychotropical Berlin, and I was like look at it, and I was trying to imagine things and asking me why we call it like this, you know. Then I was checking the numbers, the credits, and I was like, oh, it's good, the views. And after I was like, oh, I want to listen Amour dans le Motu next. Then I was like, oh no, I want to listen Nous étions deux because it's like warm feeling. Enfin, yeah, like just random stuff. And I was like watching you, you know.
The record label Born Bad Record, which is a great record label in France, who distribute our vinyl, and we love Elzo. He's doing very great stuff, and he's also a very funny guy. And yeah, the artwork is like very literally connected with the name of the record. When you see the artwork, you know, it's like with those elements of city, tropical, and psychedelic, and this kind of stuff. So yeah,
Elzo love to party and like take all kind of substance. And I remember we were recording one part of the album in Brussels at any time, and we decided to go visit him for like meet him because we never meet him. And we did like some cocktail daiquiri all night with him, and it was really funny. And then a few months later, he did the cover, and he told us like his specialty is to do Wednesday, Sunday, and he calls them like Wednesday. And it means that during Wednesday to Sunday he doesn't sleep, and he just take a bunch of drugs and make some art on drugs, you know. So yeah.
Well,
He told me that he had to do like 2 Wednesday or 3 for do this cover.
So I think I'd like to meet him because most of my
you will love him, and you have like a son, and he's so funny with his son, you know, like show him like a bunch of rock and roll stuff. And we were walking in the street of Brussels, and he was like 7 or 8, and he have only like punk t-shirt, you know, and I think he very quoi. And they was like making fun of the dildo in a store, you know, and like he's very funny and punk, the kids, you know.
Especially with the Wednesday, I mean, I'm really impressed. Actually, I can do that. I can pull this up, but the problem is that normally on around Friday or like Saturday, there's nobody around, so Sunday is a lonely day. And yes, Psychotropical Berlin is great, and it's actually my favorite album. I mean, it's like, of course, what most of the time, the early stuff. If you're a fan of a band, the early stuff is always it always hits different.
I know, and even me right now, I'm nostalgic of the early period. You know.
And what's your like? How do you come up making the playlist for the gigs? Like, how do you arrange the tracks?
We basically take the best one that people want to listen, and few that we love. Sometimes it doesn't necessarily work, but most of the time we're trying to make the public happy. You know, it's true. It's really important. We start with like good music, but not too crazy. Then more it's go to the show, more it's crazy, and maybe it's go down, and then it's go crazy and up. Also, like in life, people love up tempo, especially our public. You know, when they go see La Femme, it's more for like dance and have fun than just appreciate the melody. Enfin, they do both, but it's about like dancing. So we do a lot of up tempo track because they work very good. Nous étions deux. I like this song because it looks like a train, you know, a locomotive, a train, the train of the life. We take you like everywhere. Yeah, Nous étions deux from Psychotropical Berlin.
Gonna play you one new song, I think, from our next record, but it's mostly a mix of some songs of each record we did from the past. You know.
Marlon Magnée is
Marlon Magnée.
Yeah. Hello, Marlon, to you.
Hello, everyone.
Добре дошъл в ефира на Радио София, Марон.
How is the feeling in La Femme in a band now? Are you excited about the European tour?
It's very fun because we are a lot on stage. We are like 7.
7?
Yes, because
Wow.
Nunez is going back. We have also like a new singer joining us for our first tour, so it's going to be very exciting, and we're going to play all the best hits of La Femme.
The female vocalist.
Yeah.
Her name?
Yeah.
Michel Blade,
Michel Blade.
et Fanny Luzignant.
Because
What kind of instruments? You are keyboardist,
Yeah,
Sacha is a guitar player?
Yeah, Sacha play also theremin.
Okay, theremin, yeah.
We have like 5 keyboards on stage and bass, guitar, drum.
Znači,
There's a lot of synthesizer.
много синтезатори, барабани,
Бас,
a live drummer.
Yeah,
it will be.
live drummer also.
Okay,
Yeah, it's
okay.
like full band. 5 synthesizer, live drummer, bass player, guitarist, theremin.
Okay,
хареса ми как ги изиграва, обаче той е best player.
Yeah, it's a bit difficult to say the style of the band, but at the beginning it's a mix between like 60s music, rock and roll, rockabilly, twist, and cold wave, new wave synthesizer from the 80s, you know.
All in one, всичко в едно.
It's one, yeah, it's a mix of this kind of style, and we start when we were 19 years old.
Just three years ago.
No, like
Just a joke.
15 years ago.
You look perfect. That's why I joke.
We it was a bit hard to be famous in France, so we decided to work in restaurant, put money on side, and go to the United States and do a big tour there. And when we came back, everyone wanted to book us and work with us in France.
After your period in USA, you became famous in France.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
After we had to work, but at least all the doors were more open for us.
Okay, so Sacha, it is a really important question. You have a background here in Bulgaria, and we know that you are familiar with Bulgarian folklore. So you love to use a different mixture of styles of music. What about Bulgarian folklore in future La Femme composition?
Yeah, exactly. It's a good question. We was talking about it recently, and we want to go in this way and do something with the Bulgarian folklore, of course, and with the polyphony, and trying to find the mystery of the polyphonic Bulgaria, and trying to record it and make a song, you know. So yeah, we would love to make a song with the polyphony, or maybe with like some instruments. I love also the clarinet, the way they play the clarinet like traditional Bulgarian way, or many stuff, but that will be a good stuff.
You are familiar also with the Bulgarian National Radio because you recorded here. What are the impressions of working here in BNR?
It was such a great moment. Thanks to Iliana who helped me for doing this. It was just excuse me. It was just at the door back here, you know.
Studio 2?
Yeah. And we stay a few days, record some string ensemble and also some horns. It was such a great stuff to do and interesting because it's kind of new for us to do this kind of score and kind of classic recording. So it's very interesting, and I love it a lot, and I learn a lot doing it too. And also I was very happy to doing here because my grandfather was a chef orchestra of director of choir and also musical orchestra, and he was into the classical music, and so for me to doing it here, it was very like I found it was the best place to do it in his memory, and also for his spirit, and it was like I feel I end the loop, you know, and I was very happy to make the connection with the Bulgaria and Sofia and work with musicians here. It was very such a great thing to do.
За предстоящия утре концерт на група La Femme. Искам да звуча и аз да ми е френски. La Femme.
Yeah. Et ça, je ne sais quoi.
Usually we have like a end.
But
on va pas l'avoir.
Yeah, no, this time we don't have our light guy, but usually we have one, and he's doing
as a director of the visuals.
No, not really, but he's like you know, like putting the lights in
Like
rhythm.
sound engineer, but for light.
Yeah, sound engineer
Okay,
for lights.
okay.
We also have like some the logo of our band, like a big hand, and also some technology with Elise. I don't know how to say.
Holographic panel we have, you know, with like a fan, big fan.
Okay.
Yeah.
And after this, where we gonna listen to you?
И след това, къде ще имаме възможност да ви видим и чуем?
Belgrade, Zagreb.
Белград, Загреб,
Budapest, Prague,
Budapest,
Varsovie,
Praga.
Vilnius.
Вилнюс, това си абсолютно европейско турне.
Виена.
Виена.
A really European tour.
Yeah, and then after North America.
И след това отиват в Северна Америка, доколкото виждам Канада, също така Щатите, Канада.
Of the public when you hear or see you for the first time. I mean, what is the initial reaction of La Femme concert?
But they are surprised because it's very, very rock and punk energy, so a lot of mosh pit, pogo, it's like big energy.
Електрик, пънк, енерджи. Не знам как да го преведа, разбирате ли? Да спорим. Саша, Марлон, благодаря ви, че бяхте тук за секунда.
Merci beaucoup.
Blague Daria.
Пожелавам успех на концерта ви и се надявам да имаме възможност да чуем вашите нови композиции, в които да преплетете и българската музика от корените на Саша.
Music by you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Have a good day.